Tropical FM TV. Music for your soul.
God sees me as fierce, and it just brought tears to me. I just wept like a baby. I couldn't stop myself. We know that your ways are not our ways. We know your thoughts are not our thoughts. And so, Lord, we just ask that you would come and speak to us.
And this year you're going to have an increase of that. You're going to be able to speak into people's lives and raise them up to operate in the gifts of the Spirit by the power of God.
Hello and welcome to Revealing the Christ in You. I know I've been away for a little while, like 2 weeks, but hope you missed me. And I'm back. So this is Revealing the Christ in You, where we dispel lies and we call in truth. And this afternoon we're actually talking about the importance of being Jesus's hands and his feet. You know, being able to go out in the world and not just take all that we get, the blessings that we get, and keep it for ourselves, but just being able to extend a hand to those who are in need. And so, with me this afternoon, I have Ashes to Glory. And Ashes to Glory is a charity, and they are here to tell us a bit about their charity, because we just want to encourage anybody and everybody who is listening to really just be able to extend a hand this afternoon and just to consider really the heart and mindset of Jesus of being able to give of whatever you are been blessed with, whatever, however you want to do that. So, without any further ado, this is AB, and I have Patricia Mo, and AB. So, just introduce yourself for me, ladies, because I'm sure I'm not saying your name properly, A.B.
Hi, I'm A.B. Omoichuk, and with me is Risha Moore.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, it's on now. Hi, everyone. My name's Patricia, but I go by Risha.
Okay. All right. So tell us about Ashes to Glory, and what exactly does Ashes to Glory do?
Ashes to Glory is a ministry that shows the love of God in a practical way.
I like that. So tell me some of the practical ways in which you show the love of God.
Our heart is for orphanages, and as we go on in the program, we'll tell you a lot more about the practical ways we've actually shown love to the children of God. Okay.
So do you travel to do this? Do you go anywhere outside of London to do this?
Well, as A.B. said, the number one thing on our hearts is the orphanages, and just coming alongside existing orphanages for now, and just supporting them and raising them to a standard which they can be self-sufficient. Mm-hmm. So in whatever way there's a need. So at the moment, the one that we're focusing on is in Goma in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Mm-hmm. We actually went out there last year in March 2013, mm-hmm. and we went in to assess the needs and assess what was already on the ground and see how we could help and what kind of support that they need.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about the support you've been able to lend to them, or what do they need? Because I know there are so many. We support an orphanage right now in India, and there are just so many needs. I mean, they have floods, there are illnesses, stuff like that. So tell me some of their needs that they have there.
Well, I'll let Ibi tell you sort of about the history of how we actually became to be working alongside this particular orphanage. I mean, we didn't kind of just stick a pin in the map. there is some history there with regards to the mama and papa on ground. That's the couple that actually look after the children. So I'll let her tell you a bit of the history, because it actually really started off quite a few years ago, and we really just came alongside them, and pushed forward. But as you know, the Democratic of Congo has been under a lot of, there's been a lot of war, a lot of, wars with, I won't go into any political sort of details, but a lot of children were left orphans as a result of these wars. I'm not saying that the families of these children were necessarily soldiers. They were just normal civilians who just got caught up in the crossfire of rebels and the government and everything. So a lot of these children were left orphans. Surprisingly, not a high percentage of these children are actually orphans because of sickness. As contrary to what a lot of people think, it's actually the product of war and poverty, really. So I'll pass on to AB now, and she will kind of give you a history about how she came to meet Mama and Papa Prosper.
So tell us about that, AB.
Yeah, we've had a relationship with Mama Jean and Papa Prosper, as they call them. The children call them Papa Prosper and Mama Jane. And they're an amazing couple. They founded the orphanage way back, just when the war was really intense in Goma. And they had about, at the point we met them, or I met them, they had about 35 children, and they had just spent 6 months in a bush with 35 children. And with, war, actual war all around them. And, really horrible situation. We met them in Uganda while I was on a mission trip in Uganda, and from then on, we had a relationship with them. And when Ashes to Glory was founded, even though Ashes to Glory is not just a charity, we are a ministry, and part of what we do is showing God's love in a practical way. So we had a relationship with Papa Prosper and Mama Jane for about 9 years. Part of this time was broken due to war and lack of communication, but in the last 3 years, we've actively worked with Mama Jane Orphanage in Goma.
Okay. So where did you meet them? Did you just...
Met them in Uganda. They had just come out from the bush, as I mentioned earlier, after 6 months of being in the bush with 35 children.
How do they feed them in the bush?
Good question. We spoke to them about it, and it's really heartbreaking to hear what this couple have, done. I mean, talking about showing God's love in a practical way, we have to commend what they do. We've come alongside them, and they've really inspired us to want to do what we do. They're an amazing couple. They've literally given up their lives to do this. And they tell of harrowing stories of giving birth to children at 4 a.m. by the river and cooking in a way that the smoke doesn't go up, because they had rebels all around them. And it's an amazing story of God's love, God's protection. And the orphanage has grown from 35 children now. There's 317 children. And
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Oh, gosh.
So the needs are huge. And
all these children are as a result of war?
Every single one of them, result of war.
And you're saying because for example, like I said, we support a orphanage in India, and some of those children have parents, just that they can't afford to keep the kids. So the children go home for holidays and that kind of thing, but they stay in the orphanage. So this is not this kind of situation.
No, this is not.
They have no parents.
Well, there are a handful, like you're saying, that the families can't support. But in the case of the Mama Jean Orphanage, there are a handful of children, and a bit of good news, who've actually been reunited with family members. Because
Excellent.
When war breaks out, everybody kind of flies in all different directions, and children are left abandoned, or parents are killed, mothers are raped, really horrible, horrible stories. And so Papa Prosper and Mama Jean have actually been able to reunite some of the children. Like I said, that's a small handful, but that is on their hearts, to seek out relatives, however far and however wide, and reunite children with members of the family. There's actually a program that he's working towards establishing where older siblings are able to take care of the younger ones, and they come alongside them. So they're not necessarily in the orphanage, they're in their own homes or with relatives, and they come alongside them and support them that way. So it's all about kind of getting independence and ensuring, that these children are looked after.
Oh, excellent. So you tell me now, how do you help Mama Jean and Papa Prosper, yes?
Well, the key is prayer, really, and knowing, supporting them that way. We spend time in prayer. In practical ways, we we send them money monthly, money that covers, twice a month actually, money that covers food, feeding, and also salaries for the teachers, because bless them, they've actually got a school, on site. They've got school on site. The children in the orphanage, we've got some as young as 4 or 5 months,
Right.
and the oldest one, as of our visit last year in 2013, I believe he was 17 years old. So there are really lots of lovely stories that we hear. It's not all gloom and doom in a sense, and the children are really, when you look at them, when we met them for the first time, yes, we were very moved emotionally, we had tears in our eyes, but that was only because we knew a bit of their history, we knew a bit of what they'd gone through. It was no way because of how they looked or their countenance or, their mood. They were very happy children, and you could tell that it's not just about looking after them in that sense, it's actually fathering and mothering them. Papa Prosper and Mama Jean really do that, and they instill the love of God in those children. Like Abby mentioned, she had met Papa Prosper and Mama Jean many years ago, and he's actually a pastor. And so, hearing stories, and our correspondence was mainly by email and occasionally the odd phone call and everything. So hearing that he's a pastor, I just kind of imagined he has a church and everything. But when we visited there, it was so sweet to see that his congregation is actually the children. It is actually, and it's lovely. And they do the worship. They do. The children do the worship. It's
awesome.
So fantastic. And yes, they have very little. Yes, they may not be certain about tomorrow, but they certain in the fact that this couple love them and will do all that they can physically to ensure that they are looked after and they're cared for, both spiritually as well as materially, if you like.
Okay. Well, I'm a teacher by profession, and I know that 2 adults to 300 children is a lot. So who else helps? Because I'm thinking children need to be bathed, children need to be, fed. So who else helps? I know you said you have teachers for the school, but do you have help on hand for the 300 kids?
There are a few women that help, not enough. And while we're out there, we were honestly concerned about the age group, the toddlers. The babies stay in the house of Mama Jane and Prosper.
Right.
But the toddlers, once they can walk, are released into the orphanage. And it's lovely to see the older children take care of the younger ones.
Excellent.
That really, you can see a lot of love and connection that way and nurturing that way. But then there's still not enough women. We have about maybe 5 or 6 that takes care of them, and then also do the cooking but it's a lot of children we're talking about.
It's a lot of food to cook for 300 children.
Yes.
So how does it work in terms of food? Because to feed 300 children is a lot. I mean, again, I can only compare it to the orphanage we take care of. We only have 75 children. So, we send quite a bit just for rice, because these kids eat rice like nobody's business. So, and they eat rice 3 times a day. So how does it work in terms of food? I mean, how much money would you say, budget-wise, that these children need as relates to food?
I would like to say, before we went out to the orphanage, it was really difficult to ascertain the needs, because no matter how much Prosper and Mama Jean tell you how dire the situation is, until you go out there and see it. I'm not saying everybody has to, but we have been, and from our stories, you can feel like you've been there as well when you see the photos. But one of the greatest needs we found was babies. When we got there, the babies want flour and water.
Flour and water.
Yes, so milk.
What do you do with that?
Exactly.
Make milk with flour and water?
Milk with flour and water. So it's one of the areas that really broke our hearts. And
can't that cause constipation? I'm sorry, I'm not a doctor,
probably,
but...
Yeah.
Oh, my word.
So one of the first things we tackled was milk, practically. When we're out there, which I will say more about the self-help projects and the projects we have started since we've been there. But our heart is, when we started supporting the orphanage, they were barely on 1 meal a day. And now we've moved on to 2 meals a day. And I wouldn't say they are full 2 meals, but at least the children have breakfast, like a porridgey kind of breakfast that day. But they have a good meal in the afternoon. You'll see some of the photos later when Christine shows you.
Wow, okay. So what would you say budget-wise that they need? Because I'm thinking, how much money would you say 300 children plus teachers? Because I'm assuming they live on board. The adults, they stay during the night, yes? Right, so pretty much they need to eat as well. How much money would you say then that they need per month for food, just food?
For food right now, it varies what we send. We send what we have.
Of course.
It's never enough.
How do they make money for themselves?
Yes, so there's a lot of self-help projects which Risha will talk about as we... Risha, can you talk about the self-help projects that they have?
Yes. Another thing, I mean, there's so many things I can say about Mama Jean and Papa Prosper. They're such special people. And what was very evident was that they're not totally reliant on, I don't want to use the word charity, but, handouts kind of thing. They're not kind of sitting there and, going, give me, and we're doing this.
Oh, that's excellent.
They are actually, working towards becoming, self-sustained themselves. And what was very evident was that they have, Mama Jean is a businesswoman, So one of a few of the self-help projects that they have is she bakes some scone-like cakes, things, and...
Are they British?
No, they're Congolese. They're not British.
Oh, okay.
No, they're Congolese.
Because
Yeah.
it says scones, I thought.
Yeah, I'd say that they look like scones, but they're heavy. They're really heavy, but
Okay.
they're tasty, So she bakes those. Unfortunately, she can't give them to the children. She can't afford it because it makes more sense, to actually sell them and use the money towards, food and the needs around the orphanages. They had some pigs, which, once again, they're rearing pigs at Christmas time and festivals and New Year's and stuff. They sell the pigs out and maybe kill a couple for the children, for food and the children. They have chickens, they have rabbits, as well. Once again, very rarely do they, use the meat for these. It's all sort of geared towards sales and, getting some money to put back into the orphanage. I just want to touch quickly. I don't want our audience to think that there's some babies out there just drinking flour and water. They are on milk. Don't get us wrong. They do go on milk. But at the time we arrived there, they had run out of milk, and we found out that that's what they do between being able to get more milk for the children. Now I can't say how long the space is, how the length of time in between. But when we arrived there last year, they had run out of milk. Can't even remember for how many days. But then we asked, well, they're babies. You can't exactly give them solid food. What you do? And Mama Jean said, well, they have to mix flour and water, and that's what they give to the children. But I'm glad to say, praise God, that we've been able, with the money we send monthly, twice a month, we've been able to ensure at least that the babies have milk. We haven't heard any stories or any, sort of feedback that babies are now drinking flour and milk. So
so it's predominantly milk now.
It's predominantly milk now. So I just wanted to clarify.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
The cost of milk is like $10 for a little tin.
$10 US.
$10. And Goma they like dollars. They don't like using their own money. So most transactions are actually done in dollars. Yeah. So to sustain that is
So let me ask you guys a question. Where do you get money to send twice a month? Because twice a month sounds, I'm being challenged as I'm listening to you guys, because we only send once a month, and we know it's not enough, but that's what we can afford right now. So how do you guys come up with that money twice a month to do that?
We've got some very wonderful partners who have been alongside us since we started this.
Excellent.
So they support us, they partner with us. We get the occasional gift.
Are they okay for you
well.
to mention their names?
I imagine they are. You wouldn't know.
Okay.
Yeah, because I would have liked to ask them first before coming.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. But they're fantastic people who believe in what we do, who believe in the vision, who also have that passion as well, to see these children raised, and have a future, basically.
Excellent. And the school, you said that there's a school there. From what age to what age does the school cater for?
I believe it's from, because the education system there is, I think, slightly different. Where here in the UK, I think children generally start reception from age 4, isn't it? I think from there it's like 5, 6 years old, and I believe they go straight into primary 1.
What is primary 1?
Primary 1 is like year 1.
Okay.
It's like year 1. But that doesn't mean they kind of have 6 classrooms catering for year 1 through to year 6. I mean, they're kind of bunched up together, and you might have, 3 age groups in one class, for example. Yeah.
Okay. So when a child becomes, say, 9 years old, 10 years old, are they still taught in that school?
They're still taught. Papa Prosper is a very protective man. He's still not confident. He's still not trusting of the outside of the, the orphanage walls itself. And in that sense, he does not want his children, the children, to go outside to schools because, they've been through so much trauma. It's just and that's why he's educating them within, the grounds of the orphanage, just so that they're not exposed to anything. So they will get the level of education at least up until, I imagine, maybe year 12, is it that Form 5? Yeah, or even higher, 17, at least when they're 17 then.
Okay, excellent.
So I imagine that's secondary school as well. So he's that's why, and to bear in mind that he does not get any help from the government whatsoever.
Wow.
From the Congolese government, nothing. He doesn't get any help. So he keeps the children within, it's very, very much, a father, as a father would do, you don't want your children to be exposed to anything unnecessarily, bearing in mind that the trauma that a lot of them have
actually
experienced. So
and ongoing as well, because Goma has a high rate of rape and a high rate of war still on. So once in a while we have.
There's still war now.
Yeah. At the minute, things are quiet. Things have been quiet, but literally, was it a week or two before we left last year in March? Things were really hairy, really, really bad. The media guy that we hired when we went out there to do our filming and everything, he'd actually sent us a video. Did he send it after we got back?
After we got back.
And when we watched it, we just thought, oh my gosh, if we had seen that before we left, I really honestly don't know how we would have kept up the courage to go, because literally, and the footage he sent us was footage he'd taken just outside the walls of the orphanage itself, because he happened to be with Papa Prosper that day, taking individual pictures of each child when the rebels broke out and people were running for their lives. And they don't care, these rebels, they don't care who you are, what you're about. They're just out to make a statement. So they don't care that you're a child. They don't care that you're a widow. They don't care that you're a man, looking to just look after your family. They will cut whoever is in their path down, you know what I mean? And so he was able to get some footage. He actually put his life on the line, I feel, and he sent it to us. And he didn't send it till after we had come back to the UK, but watching it, we're like, my God, and this is what, even though the children may not have seen this, they would have heard, they would have heard. But praise God, things seem to be quiet right now. We haven't heard any kind of updates of any unsettledness in the area where they live, at the moment. And we just pray that, things that they're protected,
Are the premises secure? Because now I'm getting concerned for the kids. Are the premises...
Very high walls.
Very high walls?
Very high walls, and it's protected,
Okay, well, as much as they can, huh?
As much as they can.
Okay. All right, well, tell us a little bit more about, because I know you said you have sponsors that help you, but what do you guys do in order to raise money? Do you have any projects that you do or anything like that? Or
yes, we have. When we came away, the need was huge. But we had to pick on specific projects we wanted to start off on. What we noticed out there was that Goma is a volcanic region. So water to the orphanage is, a guy brings it in with bicycles, and that's an added cost because water is vital. And we chose quite a few projects, which I will cover in a minute. But the one we're working on currently actively is we're building the girls' bathroom, because girls didn't have bathroom while we're out there. And that's the project we're focused on. But we have quite a few others that we work on alongside providing food, which is...
it's amazing as ladies, huh? Because that was one of the first things that, well, they didn't, in India, they had no toilets. And I just thought, girls, they need their toilets. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Okay, so you're trying to build a girls' bathroom, and water is an issue there.
Yes, what we're focusing on now is the girls' bathroom. Like I said, that's important, as well as moving the meals to 3 a day. That's an important thing as well. And they need another classroom because. I think it was both the classrooms that we visited, they weren't completed. They were just one was actually a shack. You couldn't even call it a classroom. It didn't have solid walls. And then the one that did have solid walls had leaks, coming through. At the moment now, I believe there are a couple of classes, and we might have a picture in the back. There are a couple of classes that actually hold outside, under the trees, which is lovely, But when in the rainy season, when it rains, then classes have to be suspended, because of that. So that's on our heart as well, getting a classroom. And I mentioned earlier on about the self-help projects, what Papa Prosper and Mama Jean are doing. They actually have a farm, but unfortunately it's like 40 kilometers away, and he did say that getting crops and getting food from the farm would actually go a long way to help with, the food need that they have within the orphanage, but there's no transport. So once again, we're looking to getting them some kind of a jeep or a van or, a truck or some sort to, help them with bringing the food from the farm. Water is another one. Milk for the babies, ensuring that there's a constant supply, of milk for the babies, yeah.
Okay. All right. So what I want us to do is take a break. And I want us to come back and look at some of the pictures of the children and just what's happening there. But I know my heart has really gone out in so many ways as you guys were talking. And I'm just so amazed at the hearts of Mama Jean and Papa Prosper. Just amazing. Yeah. I mean, I would love to interview them myself just to find out what, a war is going on. Would you just not think about yourself? Like, let's just protect myself.
Yeah. Do you know they have their own children?
They have their own children.
They have, is it 6 children? They have 6 children. They have their own children, and...
well, this must be parents, I'm sure, but I was thinking this must be parents.
They have a lot of not say a lot, a handful of the children that are there that are just either preteens or coming up to preteens. Mama Jean had actually breastfed them herself because they came to her around the time when her children were babies. So that's the heart,
One of them had his arm chopped off.
Yeah, so that bond, is really there. So we were before they took us to their home, because we spent most of the time in the orphanage. We kind of asked, I can't remember if it was A.B. or myself that asked, where are your children? And he kind of pointed out, that's my son. And we're like, really? It's just...
So they stay in the orphanage?
No, they don't. He'd just come down, to the orphanage. But what the point I'm trying to make is that it's not about me. He could easily say, we have needs too. My children need to go to university. My children need X, Y, Z. But you know what? It was just so, it's not about his own natural children. It was about these children. And that really blessed me, that his needs are secondary. They're not, they're not rich. They don't have businesses. They gave up their jobs. He was a principal. Mama Jean's a counselor. Fair enough, she still counsels, bearing in mind the kind of, line of, work that they are in. So she does counsel, women, who have, who've lost husbands or children and stuff like that. So she does, but they don't get paid for it. They don't get help from the government, like I said. So, the fact that he, there was nothing about his own personal needs. Everything is just into the orphanage, for the children.
Amazing, amazing. We take our hats off to them by far. We honor them. All right, let's just take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll show you some pictures of the children in Goma, and just so that you can become acclimatized with their needs and their faces as well. All right, so we'll take a break.
You're listening to The Sound.
You guys are...
The Sound Pit is here, only on Tropical FM.
Where else would you go to hear the best world tunes, up-to-date music and the most honest opinions?
Join myself, Grant Savage.
And me, Roscoe, live every Tuesday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Exclusively on Tropical FM TV.
See you there.
God sees me as fierce, and it just brought tears to me. I just wept like a baby. I couldn't stop myself. We know that your ways are not our ways. We know your thoughts are not our thoughts. And so, Lord, we just ask that you would come and speak to us.
And this year you're going to have an increase of that. You're going to be able to speak into people's lives and raise them up to operate in the gifts of the Spirit by the power of God.
My name is Christine Nelson, and I'm the author of the book Walking in Oneness, Taking the Father by the Hand. Do you feel stagnant in your relationship with God? Perhaps you desire to know the Father more intimately, having a clear channel of communication and fellowship with Him. Walking in Oneness is an insightful study that will help you understand the kind of relationship God wants to have with you. In this book, you will explore 10 key principles that will give you a clear picture of the Father's heart towards you. This book illustrates how this fellowship and oneness is fulfilled by Jesus and how it can be fulfilled by you. Jesus prayed, "May they be one as we are one." We must admit that Jesus' prayer was answered by the Father. The question is, how do we live out this oneness He prayed? This book will teach you how to walk in oneness by conforming yourselves to the very nature of God, how to flow in the mindset of God, how to synchronize heaven's agenda with earth's, how to live out the very image you were created in. If you desire to walk hand in hand with your Creator, and for your heart to be connected to your Father's heart like never before, then this book is for you.
Keep it locked on Tropical FM.
All right, so welcome back. We're talking to Risha and AB from Ashes to Glory, and we've been talking about some children in Goma who are in an orphanage who've lost their parents through war, and just the needs that are there. And Ashes to Glory, you know, they have 4 clear projects that they're working on, and I believe they need your help. We have over 300 children that they are trying to provide food and milk for, and they're trying to build a bathroom for the girls. Can you imagine 300 children? I don't know how many of them are girls?
Almost half.
Almost a little over half, I'd say. Were
Yeah, girls
There were
usually, you have more girls.
And lots of teenage girls who need dignity.
Oh my gosh. So we're just trying to build one bathroom for the girls. And there are probably over 150 of them. So also they're trying to build another classroom for the children to be taught, especially during rainy seasons, because right now they're doing it outside. So when it's raining, they have no place to do those classes. And a vehicle to actually get food from the farm back to the orphanage so the children will have more food. So these are the 4 clear projects that they're working on. So I want us to look at some pictures right now of those children that we've been talking about during the program. And as we are looking at these pictures, my prayer is that you'll be moved to go on Ashes to Glory. What's your website again?
AshesToGlory.org.
AshesToGlory.org. It's actually at the bottom of the screen. So go to AshesToGlory.org and just make some donation to help. This is a really worthy cause. These are children who are in need, and you know, God bless that couple and the teachers that are there. But also, you know, we want to honor Ashes to Glory for actually, you know, sussing out this need and making the provisions to be able to do that. But they need your help. They need your help, and my prayer is that you'd be moved to go to your bank account and transfer some money. Okay? God bless you. Let's just watch the pictures of the children.
Do you want to say anything about it?
Yeah, tell us about the pictures. Is that you, Risha, and
That's
Evie?
myself and Risha, yeah.
Yeah, that's 2013.
2013, yes.
Excellent.
The first picture was the babies, you know, you see the milk there. Mama Jean was very happy at the milk that we had purchased
That
that
we
morning.
bought, yes.
First thing we did.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, that's some of the babies.
And-
How
and
old
not-
are they?
I think
The youngest is about 4 months.
4 months, yes.
months.
Oh,
And you can
wow.
see there's a carton of water there, so they need sort of
Bottled water.
bottled water to make the food for the babies,
Oh,
to make the
right.
milk for the babies.
Yeah.
So
Just for
that's another expense, in its.
And
in
you see, that's
itself.
a $10 size of milk.
Yeah.
It's not a huge tin milk. It's
That's $10?
That's one tin of baby formula is $10. Yes.
Wow. When you're going to Goma, can you actually take milk with you?
we're looking into that.
We're looking into that. Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely want to help in whatever way I can in that
Thank
way.
you.
That's the classroom. That's the leaking classroom.
Yeah, that's one of the
The roof is-
classrooms with a leaking roof.
So this is the classroom. You want to fix this one as well, or you're
Well,
just building the
we're,
other one?
we're building a new.
building
We'd like to build a new one. They will fix this, but it's also because of space as well. They do need another classroom.
So
yes.
that space I'm seeing there, is that
Yeah.
where the leakage, the water is coming through?
Where he's pointing, I believe he's pointing somewhere.
Yes, I can see. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And those are all the
Those are
children.
the children.
This is, but you said you had 70, was it, how many?
That's 300.
Oh,
317.
when you went, it was
That's when we
300?
Yeah, it was 317 when we went.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's us
but he
at the back.
started off with about 30.
35. when-
That is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
So it's not 300, it's 317.
Yes.
Yeah, 317 children.
Yeah.
Wow. So from, what would you say is the youngest child?
We had twins recently.
We had twins recently. This was towards the end of summer last year. So imagine they've just had their first birthday now.
Right?
Yes.
Then
That's a lot of children.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And like AB said, that the really young babies, Papa Prosper and Mama Jean actually keep them in their homes.
This is
with
Mama
them.
Prosper.
That's
Yeah.
Mama Jean.
Sorry, Mama Jean and
Mama
That's
Jean,
Mama-
and
oh, I
that's
like that. It's a close-up picture.
Papa
Yeah, that's
Prosper.
Oh, Papa Prosper and
Yes.
Mama Jean.
Yeah.
This is a couple that started the whole thing.
Yes.
Yes.
Bless their hearts. In the middle of war, guys, in the
Yes.
middle of war, they did not just look at their own family.
Yes.
They took 35 children on their wings.
Yeah. And that's actually a picture of the first, one of the shopping trips that we did when we were out there.
This
Yes.
is rice?
That's rice. Yeah, so their diet is rice and beans.
So they don't even eat
Rice. No,
Beans,
No.
meat, very rare. Christmas.
very rare. Christmas, like I said, with the pigs that they have. Yeah.
While we're out there, we actually were supported, heavily by our partners. And one
Yes.
of the ministries that really stands out for us
Yeah.
is Adopted Diet.
Adopt a diet,
That was
yes.
really amazing.
That was-
A few people in that ministry actually fasted, took on the diet of the orphanage and gave the difference.
Wow.
The shopping bill for the
Yeah.
length of time we're out there. I thought that was.
So that was amazing. That was
amazing.
really, that they would actually put themselves on that diet to experience what these children are eating
That's awesome.
and,
give the difference.
give the difference on their shopping bill
That's
towards,
awesome. That's awesome.
towards the kids.
I'll do that when you guys
Yeah.
are going. I'm very challenged.
Thank you.
And that's a water bike. So if we have the vehicle instead of the bicycle
Right.
coming in with water, because that's a huge cost, this is
Yeah.
what we'll be able to do. Because
Yeah.
the
Carry
only
far
way-
much more water as
Yeah.
carry
well.
far much water
Yeah.
and reduce the cost. And in an emergency, we lost 2 children 2 years ago. In an
Yeah.
emergency situation without a vehicle, when a child is ill, it's crucial that we.
Oh, wow.
So that's what
Yeah.
makes a vehicle project very, very important.
Okay, so if we can be very, very clear about this, if we can be very, very clear about this, you're saying that the project for the water is key, but also the project for the vehicle is even more key, yes?
Yes.
Okay. The project for the water and the vehicle is going to be very key. My son has just decided to come out of the room, so please excuse us as we try to get him back in. Right, we're getting him back in the room. Right, so I'm just thinking in terms of, obviously these are 4 important projects, but the vehicle to me sounds critical. Because if you've lost 2 children as a result, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to appeal. If you are listening and you are watching this program, this is the crunch line. I'm going to challenge you to be Jesus' hand and Jesus' feet today. I'm going to challenge you to extend your heart and your pocket You know, it doesn't take a lot. Remember that guy in the Bible who gave his lunch 2 fish, 5 loaves. That's it. That's what he had. That was his lunch. That's all he had. But he gave it to Jesus and it multiplied. I don't know what's your lunch today. I don't know what your lunch is going to be tomorrow. But probably you can do what those people did. I know I'm going to do something. You know, just sacrifice your lunch for tomorrow. Be like that little boy. Sacrifice your lunch. Even if you said, okay, I'm going to sacrifice my lunch for this week. I've done that. Sacrifice your lunch for this week. That could easily be 25 pounds. And you just sow it in because these children are in need. There's a real need here. When are you guys going back to Goma?
We're planning a trip for next year.
Okay, can you tell us any dates on that or any months?
It will be April, roughly April.
Okay, because I'm just thinking as well that probably we could help with clothes and things for the kids to bring back.
That would be great.
Okay, so again, this is another way. You can get in touch with Ashes to Glory. They are supposed to be going back to Goma in April, and they could actually bring some clothes, some milk, you know, so just bear that in mind. But today I want you to really extend yourself, extend your wallet, as it were, and just send some money across to Ashes to Glory. Because like they said they send money twice a month, and they do have partners, but we're talking of over 317 children. I'm not saying these partners aren't helping, but they really do need more help. So if you guys can, like they said, they send what they have, but it's never enough. So please extend yourself. All right? So I want to just stop there about the orphanage. What else are you guys doing to raise money? Because I know you said you've been trying to raise money through different means, but I know you have an event coming up. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, Ashes to Glory is a ministry, and we do what we do because the heart of God, like it says in Psalms 82, verse 3, is to defend the weak and the fatherless, uphold the cause of the poor and the oppressed. We have a ministry event coming up, and in that event, the offering that is being raised is actually towards the orphanage.
Okay.
It's a free event, and I think Christine will talk more about the event when she puts up the flyer.
All right, yes. If we could just show the flyer for that event so we can talk a little bit about it. Thank you. All right, so this is the event that's coming up. It's a free event, but is it a conference for a day?
It's a conference for a day.
So it's a day conference where, you have 5 speakers. Yes?
Yes.
So we have 5 speakers on that day. That's Saturday the 20th. Oh, it's really close, actually. Saturday the 22nd of November, 2014, between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. And it's at Zoe House, which is 8 to 10 Devonshire Road, Forest Hill, SE 23 and 3JT. So this is where they're having this wonderful conference, a day conference. The admission is free, so you don't have to worry about the cost. And when you come, just come with the intention that, yes, this is an event to obviously build up people spiritually, but it's also an event hoping that the offering that is given at the conference will actually raise money for these very needy children in Goma. So any way in which you can help, if you can send some money today via to ashestoglory.org, or if you want to come to this event, this event will edify you and will definitely take you to another step in your own walk with God. So I would encourage you to attend. And like I said, it's free. There are not many conferences that are free. So it is free. So definitely, if you live in London or anywhere really in the UK, you can plan to go to this event. It's on the 22nd of November, so it's not really a long way off. So you can start planning from now. Okay, so anything else? Because we're going to wrap up now. That you want to say?
Christine, thank you for having us here.
Oh, it's a pleasure, and it's been awesome to hear about the kids. And just, it's one thing to say we're Christians, but it's a completely different thing to extend a hand to those who are in need. Yeah. And I just thank God for people like you, and I thank God for those who are listening and will, feel in their hearts to extend a hand. That, I thank you in advance for giving today. Yeah. I thank you in advance for, taking the time to say, this is a worthy cause and I'm going to give some money. So I thank you in advance as well. So without any further ado, I will see you next week. Thank you so much for joining us. God bless you.
Thank you.
Wow.
Tropical FM TV. Music for your soul.